America, breath tests are used to arrest and convict suspected drunk drivers. But are they really reliable? An investigation from the New York Times is calling into question the effectiveness of the machines and the results. It uncovers numerous inconsistencies in the breathalyzers and the technology. Stacy Cowley joins me now. She is a finance reporter for the New York Times with a focus on consumer issues and data security. Stacy is one of the reporters behind this investigation. Welcome, Stacy. Thank you so much for coming to talk to us about your fabulous reporting. Tell us a little bit about the history behind these breathalyzers and how frequently they're used.
So these machines were first created in the 1930s and really caught on in a big way, or started to catch on in the 1950s with a machine that was literally called the drunkometer. But it really takes off in the 1980s when Mothers Against Drunk Driving really drew attention to the tragic nature of this crime. And that's when we started seeing increased penalties and increased seriousness with which this was treated. And that's the point at which these machines started to be much more commonly used.
And so it seemed like an easy answer for police departments, right? Let's get a quick reading. We don't have to send in blood to a lab. We can figure out right on the spot whether we're dealing with a DUI, correct?
And it is a fairly reliable scientific technology. What we found in our investigation is that, if the machines are programmed correctly, calibrated correctly, maintained correctly, and used correctly, they're fairly accurate. The problem comes in when something goes wrong in that process. That's where you get these flawed and unreliable results. And the results of that can be kind of catastrophic.
Right. And of course, you don't know, or any one person, individual doesn't know whether or not the breathalyzer that is being used on them is an accurate one, as you've just described. And tell us about the problems with the proprietary nature of the technology of these units.
So that was something that really struck us as we started looking into this. I mean, obviously, this is something that's used for criminal justice proceedings. It's fairly important. And yet these are proprietary machines that are owned by their manufacturers, and they treat them as trade secrets. It's very, very hard to get a closer look at how these machines operate. And that was something that struck us as unusual for something that is being used for a civic function.
And it does seem to open up a whole legal loophole as well. Tell us, now that people are starting to catch on to the fact that these machines aren't always accurate, is this becoming a legal defense in almost every state for a DUI?
You see it happen. I mean, this has been something that DUI lawyers have been fighting the machines for, decades and decades. What we are starting to see, though, is some of their complaints being taken a little more seriously. Just in the last couple of years, we've seen two states, Massachusetts and New Jersey, where in each of those case states, it blew up into a large systemic thing, and we saw tens of thousands of tests get tossed out. And that's fairly unusual. That was sort of the first time we were seeing this happen on a big scale.
Right. And so going forward, what are the best practices for police departments? Obviously, we want to see people with DUIs pulled over and convicted, but we want to make sure that they actually are as drunk as the breathalyzers say they are, right?
That's one of the challenges. I mean, the gold standard here for testing someone's blood alcohol content is drawing their blood. That's obviously a much more complicated procedure and involves a warrant. So it's typically reserved for only the most serious cases. The advantage of breathalyzers is they're quick and easy and fairly easy to use. The answer really seems to come down here to oversight and transparency. These are a forensic scientific tool. They need to be treated appropriately.
But now that they seem to be open to more legal challenges, are they going to be as effective going forward?
We'll find out. We'll see where it goes.
All right. Well, Stacy Cowley, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.